What's happening, guys? Shay here. Uneven Bounce. Hope you guys are well. So the biggest show is back in town, and for once, I'm not referring to Krishna Kalki's next musical performance. It is IPL. The 14th edition is here, 2021. Let's go, boys. So obviously, this is the first IPL show. We'll be doing a preview show. We're doing here. We'll be obviously doing this for the next few weeks. Starting with sales, this is the more of the preview, and then the idea going forward is to do a weekly wrap up. Hence the word Kati, as Krishna was so kind of to tell me what a wrap was in India. So that's the idea. It's a wrap up show, guys, within a weekly basis. But obviously today is the preview. I've got joining me, as you can see, you've got Anurag, Reddy, Sayan Banerjee, and Krishna Kalki joining me today. So thank you very much, guys. How you all doing?
Doing great, mate.
Yep, all good, man.
Great, man.
Are we excited about the competition?
Oh yes, definitely.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Pretty excited.
I'm sure it's hit fever pitch in India. Less than 48 hours to go, isn't until the first ball is bowled between Mumbai and RCB. Or is it RCB and Mumbai? I'm not sure which team's classed as the home game. But anyway, yeah, so we're going to go into it. So what I said before, what we're doing is we're going through the 8 squads. Then we're talking about the weaknesses of the squads, the key players, maybe a left field pick, and just maybe assessing the signs as well. So we're going through the 8 franchises. So we're starting first with Delhi Capitals. So the squad we've got here is Captain Rishabh Pant. Obviously, Shreyas Iyer is injured, so we said not playing at all in tournaments. Rishabh Pant is captain, Shikhar Dhawan, Prithvi Shaw, Isant Sharma, Ravichandran Ashwin, Ajinkya Rahane, Axar Patel, Amit Mishra, Avesh Khan, Marcus Stoinis, Shimron Hetmeyer, Kagisa Rabada, Ankit Nokia, Praveen Dubey, Lalit Yadav, Chris Wokes, and new signings Steve Smith, Umesh Yadav, Ripal Patel, Vishnu Vinod, Lukman Meriwala, M. Siddharth, Tom Curran, and Sam Billings. So that's the squad for 2021. So I'll head over to Sayan for this one. He's going to be covering Delhi and Kolkata as well. But we'll just start with Delhi. So if we go, obviously, to the squad, I'll start with the signings, Sayan, that Delhi have made in the off-season. What do you feel? What's your opinion on their transfer policy?
So, yeah, firstly, I think they traded Daniel Sams and Harshal Patel to RCB. I think the fact that they traded Sams is fine, but I don't know why they traded Harshal Patel, because he could have been an integral part of the playing 11 this year, because he's a gun batsman and a good enough bowler to make it into the 11 this year. I don't know why they did that, but however, the signing of Steve Smith seems to be a good one now that Shreyas Iyer is injured. He's kind of, although people say he's not that good a T20 player, but I believe the stats show something else. He's quite effective at the number 3 position, where he's comfortable batting. Also, I think they have wasted 5.25 crores signing Tom Curran, I believe.
You're damn right you
I
have.
don't think he'll get a game. Yeah, I don't think he'll get a game ahead of Chris Wokes, Norkia, or Rabada. And although Norkia and Rabada seem to be missing the first 2 or 3 games, I still believe they'll go with Sam Billings and Chris Wokes ahead of Curran on his current form.
Am I right in saying, Sayan, the reason why they're missing the first 2-3 games is due to the quarantine period you'll have to serve once arriving in India, isn't it? Obviously, they missed the 3rd ODI, so there's 5 Proteas players. They're all missing the first 2 games, aren't they? 2-3 games. Because it's still 10 days, isn't it? 10 days quarantine period in India, isn't it? Once they touch down. Okay, so obviously that's there's a comment on the new players that have been signed. I mean, what's your opinion on Umesh Yadav coming in?
Actually, what we saw Umesh Yadav for the last 2 years in RCB, I don't think he's been too impressive, and also he hasn't been given a long rope as of like Mohammad Siraj or Navdeep Saini has been given. However, when he was in KKR back in 2017, I believe he was leading the pace attack from the front, and he was picking up wickets in the power play and also in the death overs. So I believe if they use him correctly in the power play and in the death overs, rather than using him in the middle overs, which RCB used, I think he'll be quite effective with his swing.
Okay. Okay. Can you give me your predicted 11? And I want to do this, guys, just going forward, with everyone fit and available from the squad that I've announced. So, what would your predicted 11 be for the first match?
So, can I give 2 11s for the first matches where the Proteas will miss, and the second part when they will not miss?
Okay.
Yeah. So first is Prithvi Shaw Shikhar Dhawan, Steve Smith, Rishabh Pant, Marcus Stoinis, Sam Billings, Chris Wokes, Aksa Patel, Ashwin, Umesh Yadav, Ishant Sharma. That is for the first matches. And when Nokia and Rabada are available, they'll swap in for Billings and Wokes, I believe, if one of them doesn't perform.
So you basically just give me your 2 11s by the rotation there. So you don't see Tom Curran play at all, do you? You just don't see him get a game in either squad, not even a mercy match of some sort, maybe mid-rounds.
I want him to be replaced, to be honest. No, I mean,
Chris
replaced.
I think, we'll see about him. I think him and Jason Roy have a similar predicament. I think if they don't play many games, I don't see Jason Roy playing many games. So Sunrise will discuss that later with Anurag. But you could see both of them potentially going home early and say, you know what, I don't want to sit the bench for 2 months where I can just go home and play for Surrey. Let's play for the county here when obviously the season's starting here tomorrow. So they could obviously go and play for the counties. Give me, Sayan, your 3 key players, please, from your ideal chosen 11 for Delhi.
So 3 key players will be firstly Prithvi Shaw. I think it will be his breakthrough season this year. Okay. Second is Rishabh Pant, the captain and the batsman. Like, if he clicks, then I think they have a top chance. And the third one is Marcus Stoinis. He's their number 1 all-rounder, and I believe that he will be given the task of finishing the games, as also bowling the death overs a bit. If Nokia's quota is finished before. So I feel these 3.
Do you think the Rabada will follow up, obviously, last year's leading wicket taker of the competition, just 6 months ago? You think he will, obviously, different type of wickets. Do you feel he will obviously continue where he left off 6 months ago?
I think their first match is at Wankhede, right? So it's a belting wicket, to be honest.
It's Chennai, isn't it?
I don't know, man, but I think he will continue where he finished. He's quite a good bowler.
Yeah, excellent bowler. What do you feel is an impact player in that Delhi team that maybe we're not considering as a household name?
I feel Chris Wokes is that guy. If he's paired up with, for example, if Nokia doesn't do well, and maybe he comes in for Nokia, and then I believe that he can give you that finishing role if Stoinis fails in a game. And he's a good enough bowler to get you that those crucial wickets at crucial times, So I believe he can be an left field choice player.
Yeah, in my opinion, as an England fan, he's been criminally ignored for a number of years now in the T20 setup. He's, pigeonholed as pigeonhole, but he's considered much more of a test than a 50-over bowler. But for me, if Tom Curran's making, the T20 side, never mind the squad, then Chris Wokes got to be in with a shout. I feel that Chris Wokes, if he gets a run of games, could make a last kind of minute ditch and attempt for that England squad. Obviously, it's been played in India in just 6 months, 7 months time now. So I really feel with a lot of these guys, because it's been played in India, for those guys just on the peripheral of international selection, a really good showing here in the IPL can either get them into that squad or even maybe cement their place. I think we'll see that as we carry on with the conversations over the next 2 months with this IPL. What would you see really, Ty, is in terms of Delhi's weaknesses? What would you pinpoint?
So I think the first weakness is they don't have quality spin options. I know they have got Amit Mishra.
I think Sayan's a bit stuck there.
And what if... Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I just got you to cut off about 10 seconds there, Sayan. So you said Amit Mishra. There's a lack of spin options, I think you said.
Yeah, I said there's a lack of backup spin options because we don't know how Amit Mishra has been, right? I don't think he's played any domestic as of now, and they have got one more guy called Manimaran Siddharth. I don't know how he is, right? And the second one is, I think if Prithvi Shaw doesn't fire at the top, they will get in Ajinkya Rahane. And now the problem becomes that there are 3 to 4 players who plays at the same strike rate, right? So I don't see them covering 200, 210 scores chasing, right? So if Prithvi Shaw doesn't fire, and even if Prithvi Shaw fires, how much can Steve Smith be effective in a new setup, right? I don't see that happening a lot.
Yeah,
I think
I
these are
agree
the
with that.
only 2 weaknesses.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah, I mean, I think that you're right. You can't have guys striking at 110, 120, 125. You need the guys between 160, 170, even the latter overs like Stoneys, like Hetmeyer as well. Hetmeyer was a bit hit and miss last year. I think if he does get a game, he needs to really fire, like we said before, because Delhi have such wonderful overseas options available. I think Sam Billings as well is a great player, quality player. Sam Billings, really good finish down the order. So maybe we'll see him as well come in. But we'll leave it there, Sayan. We'll move on from Delhi. We'll go over to Sunrisers Hyderabad. As you can see, obviously, I'm hosting this show, but I am a little bit biased because you can see just over my shoulder here. I am a Sunrisers fan. I have been for a long time, even from the Deccan days, when I'm calling that. But so yeah, obviously big. So I got the capper as well. I thought it was maybe a bit too much. But anyway, I'm not doing Sunrisers because it's probably a little bit too over the top in favour of them. So Anurag's going to cover Sunrisers today. I'll read the squad out. And obviously leave it to Anurag. So captain David Warner, Kane Williamson, Manish Pandey, Priyam Garg, Virat Singh, Johnny Bairstow, Vidaman Sahar, Srivat Goswami, Abdul Samad, Abhishek Sharma, Vijay Shankar, Mohamed Nabi, Jason Roy's in his overseas replacement of Mitchell Marsh, Jason Holder, Rashid Khan, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Natarajan, Sandeep Sharma, Khalil Ahmed, Siddharth Kaul, Basil Dampi, Shabazz Nadeem, and the new signings, Kili Yadav, Mujiba Rahman, and Jagadisha Sachit, former Mumbai player. So, and obviously Yadav from Chennai. I can't help but smile, Anurag. I can't help but smile when I read that squad, I have to say. Like, that to me screams chap intellect, but I'm probably a bit biased. So, obviously, Anurag, I'll go to you. First of all, what I want to say is, okay, watch obviously, I mean, we obviously know Sunrisers done very little transfer business in obviously during the call season. You've only brought in 3 players, 2 established players, kind of obviously long-time players in Sachit and Yadav in the IPL, and they've also got Mujib in as well. We've lost Shakib Al Hassan, didn't obviously play last year as banned, but obviously he's not. He's gone back to Kolkata. I think it's a bit of a shame, really, but I don't see really an option for him. Potentially ahead of Mohamed Nabi, but anyway, released him. So, what is your thoughts really on the business that's been done? And if you let me know your predicted 11 after that.
Yeah, as always, Sunrisers bowling is always their strength. Like if you see, probably I'll say the only mess up they've done is by exchanging, by not having a like-to-like replacement for Mitchell Marsh. So if you see, they're getting in Jason Roy made no sense actually. Maybe there's an inside rumor that David Warner could be injured and not fully fit for the starting matches, and maybe that's why they've got in Jason Roy. But again, we cannot rely on those rumors. So I would like to prefer a like-to-like replacement, more like a Thisara Pereira, who's not even playing in the IPL, or probably a Cameron Green, who will give you 2-3 overs and also go for the big hits. But getting in Jason Roy when you already have openers like Bairstow and David Warner makes no sense actually. Because I already have my overseas contingent of Warner, Bairstow and Williamson in the top 3. Then obviously I'll have my Rashid Khan as my bowling captain. So there's no way I can fit in a Jason Roy in this kind of squad. Adding to that, the bowling, as I said, it is very strong with the Indian bowlers like Khalil Ahmed, Natarajan and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. I think it's a complete squad, but just the goof up of Jason Roy.
Fair enough, yeah. I'll put it forward to Krishna first of all. What was your opinion on Jason Roy being signed as replacement for Mitchell Marsh? Slightly skewed transfer business.
I don't know, man. I was very surprised that they didn't go for another all-rounder. I mean, Anurag made a great point. Why didn't they go for Thisara Pereira? Why didn't they go for Cameron Green? I just thought. I mean, Jason Roy. You have David Warner, you have Johnny Bairstow, and you have Kane Williamson. All 3 who are capable of batting at the top of the order. Also, by the way, with respect to Sunrisers' problem, the problem is not at the top of the order. The problem has always been in the middle order. right? And you have they sort of rectified it last year with Kane Williamson and Jason Holder coming in there. But now what happens when Jason Holder gets injured? You don't have a backup. What happens when you don't have, when David Warner and Ridhiman Saha doesn't work anymore? Are you going to go back to Johnny Bairstow? Why is Jason Roy really needed there? Right, I felt it was sort of an unnecessary purchase. Yes, Jason Roy is worth his weight in gold in terms of a T20 batsman. He is a very solid player, but I didn't understand the thinking behind getting that. But maybe, like you said, insider information, rumors are there. But also maybe they just couldn't find any other replacement, because sometimes a lot of these cricketers, especially with these bubbles going on, a lot of cricketers may not necessarily want to get into the IPL right now and have to go through a bubble period, and then just maybe go through a bubble period maybe for like 1 or 2 games at most. So a lot of cricketers may not be necessarily available as replacements, for the IPL. So I don't necessarily. I'm not sure as to why Sunrisers I'm not sure as to why Sunrisers picked Jason Roy, but this could be one of the reasons.
Fair enough. So just give me your side, Anurag. What would your pick to 11 be?
So I'll start with Warner and Bairstow as usual as their openers. Then I'll go with Williamson, who can shepherd the middle order. Then it'll be Manish Pandey, Vijay Shankar, followed by Kedar Jadhav. Then it'll be Abdul Samad, the youngster, who was striking at around 200 last year. Then
At
I'll
7.
go with Abdul Samad.
Is he batting 7?
Yes,
Abdul Samad is 7. Okay, yeah.
Yes. And then I'll go with my bowling captain Rashid. Then followed by Bhuvneshwar, Natarajan, and Khalil Ahmed.
Sayan, Manish Pandey's been around for a long, long time now. When he signed for Sunrise in 2017, I really thought that Sunrise have found that key Indian batsman in the middle order who can propel Sunrisers especially in tough chases and making big scores batting first. Last year it clicked a lot more than we've saw previously. What is your opinion? He's kind of, for me, slowly becoming the forgotten man of Indian cricket. He doesn't kind of get his butt into gear quickly, in my opinion. He's 30 years old now. He'll be turning 30 this year, I believe. It's obviously time is kind of running out, because we saw in the recent T20 series and ODI series against England, there's a wealth of a young Indian batsman coming through. I feel like Manish Pandey, if he doesn't have a good series here and a good IPL here, he may just kind of be relegated to the sidelines forever. Is a lot of pressure on him, do you feel, going into this tournament?
Yeah, actually, because ICC said that you're allowed to take 23 players into the World Cup, right? So he would like to get into the 23. I feel that the only position he can bat is number 3, because I think that's what suits him, because he's a player who will strike at around 120 to 130 maximum. I don't know. I feel he's very inconsistent. That has made him to be negated from the selections. I don't know. I feel this year might be the one where it will either be his breakthrough season, or it will either break him down to the point that he'll be forgotten forever. Okay, he has got all the shots in his arsenal. I don't know, man. It's quite tough for me to say about Manish Pandey.
The tough one, I think. Yeah, I mean, I think he needs to really pull off some performances. I mean, the thing is, this year, if Vijay Shankar's fit, Virat Singh is a quality player, a very good sideline Mustard Trophy performances just recently concluded. So he did very well there. Adil Samad obviously can bowl part-time. It can give it a spank, as we've seen as well last year on occasion. So there is people who could take his place potentially, because there is obviously with Bairstow, Warner. For me, Vitamin Sahar should open the batting, my personal opinion, because I feel like frees up an overseas spot. Because Sahar did very well last year. Remember the back end of the tournament? I think he's made 80-something. I can't remember who against. And then he got injured. And it really skewed up. I mean, we lost to Delhi, obviously, at the end. But I really thought we missed him, because he was injured for a majority of the tournament, came in, did really well, and then was out again. But I feel like Bairstow, for me, is the one that could potentially make way if you wanted to play Jason Holder. Then obviously Rashid Khan's a banker. Then you play Williamson, and obviously Warner's a banker as captain. The problem that I think we have with Sunrise, which is not a bad problem, that every play is really a high quality banker for the side. You can't keep guys like Kane Williams on the sidelines too long. Jason Roy, people like that, you can obviously. Mohamed Nabi, he'll have me pick up a paycheck for 2 months and sit around, no problem. But do you know what I mean? Like, but Kane Williamson, New Zealand captain, legend of the game. Johnny Bairstow, one of the best white ball cricketers in world cricket. David Warner, IPL record speaks for himself. Jason Holder done so well, former West Indies captain. They're all bankers for Sunrisers. Rashid Khan, arguably the best spinner in world cricket. It's hard to keep them all happy, isn't it? So I think Sahar is the one that could come in and maybe free that spot. But I guess, we'll see. We'll see on that. We do have another guest come on. I'm delighted to say that Aditya Mehta is here to join us. How you doing, mate? You right?
Very good, mate. Come off Cricket Fitness magazine.
No problem. I did see you on there, but I thought even, I thought I might see a bit of ranting and raving even from you today after the Pro-Teas performance, but I'm sure you were as calm, cool and collected as always, Aditya. So
not sure my Twitter would indicate that, but thank you.
Oh, okay. I'm terribly to say I'm actually not on Twitter. I need to get on Twitter. I'm always told that. Right. In that case, Aditya, you're here now, so you can take my spots if you want. Obviously, I want to move to Krishna first. Just want to cover. We'll actually go with Bangalore RCB squad. So I'll just quickly read it out. We've got captain Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers, Yuzvendra Chahal, Devdutt Padikkal, Navdeep Saini, Washington Sundar, Mohammad Siraj, Kane Richardson, Adam Zampa, Shabazz Ahmed, Pavan Deshpande, Daniel Sams, Harsh Patel, the new signings are Kyle Jamieson, Glenn Maxwell, the $1 million guys, Sachin Baby, Rajchat Padidar, Daniel Christian, Mohammad Azruddin, Siyash, Prabhu Desai, KS Bharat, Finn Allen is in overseas replacement for Josh Felipe, which actually could work out really well. That was not the easiest names to pronounce, I have to say. But I hope they got there in the end. Anyway, right, so there, Krishna, that's the squad for RCB.
Yeah.
First of all, we've got to talk about Glenn Maxwell, the big show.
Of course.
The big flop, as I call him, barring one season. Why does this dude keep commanding such massive paydays?
Here's the thing. Also, I'd like to correct you. It's half a season, not one season. And also,
it was in UAE, right? 2014.
Yeah, half a season. Yeah.
Was he in India?
Yeah. No. When it was in Dubai, he was doing really well. When they got back to India, he was a flop. So, anyways, when it comes to Maxwell, I think the reason why he gets so much money is because he's so good in international cricket. He's shown us what he can do, and every time he's sort of, he's sort of this cricketer that he's very flamboyant, and he's somebody who can accelerate like this, right? Which is something that is, it's like sort of almost worth its weight in gold for any IPL team for that matter. The skills he has are worth its weight in gold, but the problem is his performance has just not been there. He's played for 5 franchises now, 4 to 5 franchises.
I think it's 4. Yeah,
four franchises. Yeah, and I think the reason why he just moves from franchise to franchise is because they expect a lot from him. We all expect a lot from him, and rightfully so. He is a cricketer who's supposed to be bankable. He's someone who you have to sort of trust to get you runs, to get you, those middle over 6s and 4s. But I think he just sort of, when it comes to IPL cricket, he's I don't know, I feel like he's not really comfortable. He's not sure exactly what he's supposed to do, even though all the franchises have made it very clear as to what he needs to do, and it's pretty clear what he needs to do, but he's probably not sure of himself. Last season he had 0 6s, if I'm not wrong, and that was really telling of Glenn Maxwell as an IPL cricketer. I think also another thing is he brings about 2-3 overs of off spin, which is something you don't necessarily get in a batsman who plays at 5 and is an overseas player. So that also is a huge asset. You don't get that a lot. So I think that when you consider the IPL 2021 auction, he was probably the best player on show of that particular skill set. So yeah, I think that's why he got a lot of money, but given his IPL performance, he shouldn't be getting that much.
And what about Kyle Jamieson? Obviously, also commanded a huge fee And since then, his performances have been somewhat extremely poor. As we saw against Australia T20s, Bangladesh he picked up a little bit. Not obviously, but it was Bangladesh. Do you feel like maybe RCB's transfer policy has been a little bit skewed here? That they've obviously looked at Jamison's performances. Predominantly, they've been in a test arena. He's been so dominant there for the last 15 months, and they've hopefully can translate that into the white ball game. But on my understanding, he's never played in India before at any level of cricket for New Zealand. So again, you have to worry. But why do you feel that they've shelled out so much money for him as well? And then also the same thing with Dan Christie. I think he's gone for what, 460k USD. This is big money. This is big money. That's I think 3 million between them altogether. What's the thinking behind the transfer policy, Krishna?
See, I think this is exactly what RCB does every year. Right? They go after one of the really big names at the auction, and they just don't end up performing because they just don't fit into the squad, or they don't fit into the scheme of things. How many times have we seen RCB do this? They did this with Yuvraj Singh. I think this is they did this with Aaron Finch. They did this with Shivam Dubey. They've done it with Shimran Hetmeyer. They've now done it with Maxwell and Jamieson. It's just, I think they really, really want to go. They have a lot of money to spend, and they really want to go after the big names at the auction and sort of keep them. And maybe it adds to their brand value. Maybe it adds to the whole buzz around the auction for their social media people or whatever it is. But I didn't understand the Jamieson buy for what, 14 crores, 13 crores. I didn't understand that particular buy. But again, at the auction, things go crazy. When you don't have Morris, when you don't have Stain, when you don't have guys like when you didn't invest properly in guys like Marcus Stoinis and Shivam Dubey, you need to. I agree. You need to go get all-rounders who can bat and score runs at the end. Because that's exactly what RCB's problem has been in the middle order, tonking at the end. But still, 15 crores, 14 crores, that's way too much. For a guy who's not even played one T20 before the auction, something really fishy there, and probably not the best idea, but that's what RCB does.
I think you can nail the head, from my opinion, in terms of RCB. I think it's all about the pizzazz, and that level of social media is a big part of it, I believe. It's like, the glitz and the glamour. I think somebody with like Chris Gale, we had that. I mean, see like these, the YouTube channels, they're dancing together and the drinks popping off. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I just feel like that's a big part of the machine, if you will.
Yeah, RCB has the most number of subscribers of all the YouTube channels of all the team franchises. So
there you go. See, because AB de Villiers, Virat Kohli will always sell shirts, right? Rose and sell shirts.
Biggest fan base as well.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And he never won a flip in IPL. It just shows, the marketing has been genius, isn't it, really? So we go then, obviously, just carrying with RCB. I actually want to go back to Anurag quickly about Sunrisers because they asked his questions. What's the key three players in a predicted 11 for you, Krishna?
Key three players in a predicted 11 for me, I think this season, Washington Sundar is going to be probably the most important bowler for RCB, not Yuzvendra Chahal. And the reason I say so is because Washington Sundar is going to lend them that sort of slowness through that they need on Chennai and Delhi wickets, because they're not playing in Bangalore. So I do see Sundar having a big impact here. For some reason, I have a feeling that Rajat Patidar is going to be very important, because when I look at all of RCB's social media and YouTube videos and all that, they seem to have a lot of time for Rajat Patidar, and they seem to really like him. So I think Rajat Patidar might be somebody who gets a go here. And of course, Virat Kohli. I mean, if Virat Kohli has to have a big season, maybe even better than 2016, for them to reach, for them to get anywhere close to that IPL trophy.
Okay, and who would you say is an impact player, maybe coming from a slightly left field pick for you in the RCB setup? Somebody maybe not a household name as mentioned before. Who do you feel can kind of come out the woodwork and have a good season?
Oh, I think this season is very, very easy. Devdutt Padikkal, his numbers in the Vijay Hazare Trophy are outstanding. They were absolutely outstanding. He got 4 centuries or something. He was averaging like 70 odd. He was just phenomenal. The kid is an absolute gold mine for the future, and yeah, I see him having a good season.
Okay. And the weaknesses, you the perceived weaknesses for you, Krishna?
As always, the death bowling. There's no real good death bowler in there. They may have to look at Kane Richardson. Also, I feel like they may not have completely addressed their middle order issues post 5, 6, 7. I think also one of the biggest weaknesses with RCB is themselves in terms of their inability to back a certain core of players or a core of maybe 12, 13 players through the entire season. They keep chopping and changing. They keep last year Gurkirat Maan came in for Shivam Dubey. I didn't understand that at all. Shivam Dubey was doing really well for them, and this season also, if guys like your Christians and Jamesons are not doing well in 2-3 games, and if they keep chopping and changing, then yeah, I could see that being a part of the downfall.
Okay. All right, I forgot to ask you, apologies, before. I want to just ask some questions to you about Sunrisers before we move on to Aditya and Mumbai. So I want to know your key 3 players in the Sunrisers 11. The impact player, as an outside, you have the kind of core household names, and the weaknesses you perceive for them.
So coming to the key 3 players, so I'll start off with Bhuvneshwar. We've seen how craftily he performed during the India-England series. After the injury and the comeback, it was phenomenal. Then I'll go with Warner and Bairstow to give me very good starts for the team, because I'm not too confident about my middle order again. So I'll expect them to play the majority of the overs until 1 to 12, and that way I can build up to scores which close to 180, 190. Then coming to the outside players, I'll probably go with Abdul Samad. We've seen glimpses of him in the last season, the way he was tonking the bowlers around, but also bowling those fearless leg breaks. He was also bowling to MS Dhoni in one of the death overs.
Yeah, so I remember. Yeah.
So probably 6 months after the previous IPL, he's probably improved more than what he was in the last edition. So probably he'll be the key player for them. And coming to the weakness, like I've stated, the middle order is again brittle again. So you don't bring in Kedar Jadhav to stabilize your middle order. You need an impact player who can tonk sixes and also rotate the strike, but not Kedar Jadhav.
Do you feel like Virat Singh could get a go? Did very well in the recent domestic T20.
Like Virat Singh probably needs more overs in his belt, but there's no place in the top. He'll have to bat probably after Manish Pandey or Vijay Shankar. So he's not going to get too many overs to bat, but if he gets a chance, probably he'll definitely prove himself.
Cool. Thank you, Anurag. Okay, Aditya, we'll move to you. So we'll discuss now, obviously, reigning champions, most successful franchise in IPL history, the mighty Mumbai Indians. So the squad reads Captain Rohit Sharma, Quinton de Kock, Surya Kumar Yadav, Ishan Kishan, Chris Lynn, Amarpreet Singh, Saurabh Tiwari, Aditya Ter, Kiran Pollard, Hardik Pandya, Krunal Pandya, Anukul Roy, Jasprit Bumrah, Trent Bolt, Rahul Chahar, Jayant Yadav, Dal Kulkarni, Mohsin Khan, Adam Milne, wants to start new signings. Adam Milne, Nathan Coulter-Nile, who was released and brought back in. P.S. Chawla, James Neesham from Punjab, Yudhvir Singh, Mokka Janssen. Good to see discuss Janssen now here, Aditya. And Arjun Tendulkar in there as well. Just a good measure. I'm sure there'll be nepotism going on there, but anyway. Aditya, what is your opinion on... Well, really, obviously, the squad, obviously, the business they've done in the off-season, and what's your predicted 11?
Well, it's a powerhouse team, and on paper, this should be a hat trick of IPLs for Rohit Sharma. And I think at least 8 of the players that played in the previous season would be names on the sheet for this season as well. What would be interesting for me to see is Marco Janssen bowling with Trent Bolt. What is it? 6'5", 6'6", lanky guy, left armour. I think that would be great, even though Bolt and Bumrah were a lethal combination in the previous season. But just out of curiosity, I'd like to see how Marco Janssen does on this particular stage. Other than that, I think predictable customers. I'd like to see Quinton de Kock make more runs this time around. I'd probably like to see him make a couple of hundreds this IPL. I'd love to see Sky as consistent as ever, Surya Kumar Yadav. And Ishan Kishan as well. So I think it's one of those things where I think they're just such a powerful lineup where if Quinton de Kock doesn't get you Rohit Sharma, if Rohit Sharma doesn't get you Surya Kumar Yadav, if Surya Kumar Yadav fails, Ishan Kishan will strike. And if Ishan Kishan doesn't strike, then Pollard will strike. And if Pollard doesn't strike, the Pandya brothers are going to strike. So it's, as Michael Vaughan often says, that if Mumbai Indians was playing the T20 World Cup, they'd win. So there's actually not a lot to say about the Mumbai Indians. They're too strong.
Yeah, it's an incredible squad, isn't it? And it's such an amazing team. I mean, it's hard to look past Mumbai, isn't it? Really. We actually got comments here, so I'll just bring it up quickly. I've got Pranav here. Thank you very much. The top 4 teams, all of you. You'll have to wait to the end, mate, because we're going to do the final predictions. Let's check back in about half an hour. But yeah, we're going to be giving our final. We'll probably try and give our final table. I've written mine down anyway. But yeah, we'll discuss the playoff places in a bit, Pranav. I think it's Krishna's your mate, isn't it, Pranav? All the way from the States. Yeah, so Pranav, hopefully you can stick around, mate. And yeah, you will find out in a short while. And Will saying hi. We have another question, actually. Oh, it's about so Mumbai spin bowling challenge. I mean, do you want to address that point there, Aditya?
Yeah, I think Rahul Chahar is probably going to be the frontline spinner, and if Rahul Chahar doesn't play, then probably Anupul Roy, who had a couple of games last season. So I don't think it's too much of an issue, and they've obviously got Krunal Pandya, who's a consistent feature in the 11 and almost always does his quarter of 4 overs. So
Sayan's best mate, Krunal Pandya.
Come on.
He loves Krunal Pandya. Massive fan.
See, we can't deny that Krunal Pandya is a very street smart cricketer, and in T20 cricket and certainly in the Mumbai Indians mold, it's very hard to replace him. Sayan obviously stated his views quite emphatically about Krunal Pandya in the ODI series, but I think that role is different, and Sayan was probably right there. But I think in the Mumbai Indians lineup, I think Rohit Sharma really uses Krunal Pandya well, and they've got this new concept called matchups. So I think he's used in accordance with that, and he's obviously handy with the bat too. So Krunal Pandya, proper team.
Do you feel, Aditya, there's any weaknesses whatsoever that opposition teams could exploit in this Mumbai setup?
Look, generally in a team that's strong, you typically lose when you don't execute. That's the challenge, where you feel like, Quinton de Kock get complacent and you feel like, we've got this massive lineup ahead. It's okay if I play loose shots. I think somewhere that complacency can set in. And look, it's T20, right? The game can change within the span of an over. One 17th over of a game gets hit for 25 runs, and then you lose that game by 5 runs. You feel like, where was the game lost? It's probably that 25-run over. Or similarly, you lose 3 wickets in an over, and that can happen to any team. So I don't think Mumbai is any different there. But yeah, on paper, on potential, I think these are world beaters. You put Mumbai Indians in any tournament, in any conditions, they've got the resources to play well.
Thank you, Aditya. We'll move on. Simon, go back to you there, mate. So we can go with Kolkata Knight Riders, obviously your team. But should we have the squads? We've got Owen Morgan as captain, Dinesh Karthik, Nitish Rana, Shubman Gill, Gurkarat Singh, replacement of Rinku Singh, Rahul Tripathi, Kamlesh Nakakoti, Kuldeep Yadav, Lockie Ferguson, Pat Cummins, Prasid Krishna, Sandeep Warrior, Shivam Mavi, Vakrun Chakravarti, Andre Russell, Tim Seaford, Sunil Narain, and the new signing, Shakib Sam back, along with Sheldon Jackson, Harbjan Singh, somehow still getting an IPL contract, Vaibhav Arora, Karun Nair, what is he doing there? Ben Cutting, Venkatesh Iyer, and Pawan Negi completes the squad for Kolkata. So Karen Nair. I remember some guy last year, maybe one of the most funny things I've read when he tweeted to Kings 11 saying it was a Kings 10 Punjab because Karen Nair was in the side. So it did make me chuckle. What are your thoughts, obviously, in the business you've done in the off-season there, Sayan? And what's your predicted 11 for the competition?
So my predicted 11 would be Gill and Rana opening. Then at 3 I would get Shakib. At 4 I would get Venkatesh Iyer. At 5 I would get Morgan. At 6 Russell. 7 Dinesh Karthik. 8 Cummins. Number 9 I would get Nagarkoti. 10 Chakravarti, and then either of Harbhajan Singh or Prasidh Krishna looking at the pitches. In Chennai, I would prefer Harbhajan for uh, Prasidh Krishna. And no talk of Kuldeep, please.
What is your thoughts then on the re-signing of Shakil Hassan? Also, Sheldon Jackson, a very good Sai Mustakali trophy as well. Do you feel that these two in particular? I mean, Shakil's obviously coming home, if you want to call it that. I think he's got a lot to prove, a point to prove for me. Shakib, could he be a really key player, possibly more important than Andre Russell this season in that middle order?
To chasing big targets or putting on big targets, because last year we saw there was no solidity in the top 3, and this year if Shakib can hold on one end, Dinesh Karthik or Morgan or Russell can go tonking over from the other end. Also, there's this new signing called Venkatesh Iyer. He's kind of like a cheap Hardik Pandya, I would say. He can pitch in 2 to 3 overs of pace bowling, and he can tonk the ball really high.
What for you are the perceived weaknesses of Kolkata? What could other teams exploit in that 11?
So firstly is the top order. If Shakib doesn't play, the opening partnership is still weak. You don't have a key player in there, right? Who can give you consistent scores except for Shubman Gill, but he strikes at a 117 last year. He strikes at 117 strike rate, right? Also, another one is the inexperienced pace bowling attack, except the Indian pace bowling attack, the quartet, as we call it, uh, like the class of 2018 that is there, Nagarkoti, Mavi, they can go for runs on their day. They can also have a day table. I believe they. However, as I have seen, Nagarkoti has improved a lot, right? He's just a 60 kg fellow. He can bowl 150s and bowl those dangerous Yorkers as we saw in the United World Cup. I hope he repeats the same.
Okay.
Another one is Andre Russell, of course. If it doesn't work, the batting will fall apart.
It's not a great reception, so I'm not sure if you know this. It's cutting out quite a bit. But I do want to give you just give you one more question. Who do you feel is kind of more of a left field pick that we maybe haven't discussed that could really make a real big impact for Kolkata? Obviously, last year I felt it's a very disjointed season. Obviously, Gordon Morgan took over halfway through from Dinesh Karthik. Obviously, now he's a fully fledged captain from ball one. He did an interview last week as well with Sky Sports on the podcast. An excellent interview. Was talking about the how the approach to the IPL, how important it is for the development of players, foreign and domestic. Obviously, he's very passionate about the competition. I feel with him now officially taking over the role, could that lead to an improvement in fortunes for Kolkata this season?
Yeah, firstly about the left field pick, I would say that Ben Cutting could be a really good pick if Andre Russell
IPL
doesn't
winner.
play. We have got a backup this year. Last year we didn't have one. Yeah, that one, 2016. Yeah, so another Indian, I feel left field choice can be Harbhajan Singh in the Chennai pitches and Wankhede, because believe me, in 2019, I believe he had taken 16 wickets in the lower order. Also, I believe Morgan, as he I hope he has the span of all 4 innings. 14 matches this year, I think he can turn around the fortunes.
Cool. Thank you for the sign. Okay, so we'll move on to Dad's Army. Say Dad's Army. It's probably there's most of the guys are my age, but I guess I am a dad. So yes, we will head over. Even though Chris were the shirt, I believe Anurag backseat this one. So Anurag be covering Chen. I'm sure Chris got a few points to mention as well if we get into that. Anyway, Captain MS Dhoni, 40 years old now. Lead aside once again. Suresh Raina back after his tiff over the quality of the hotel rooms in UAE. He's back in home comforts. Anyway, Ravindra Jadeja, wonderful to see him back and fit. Dwayne Bravo, Sam Curran, Faf du Plessis, Deepak Chahar, Ruturaj Gaikwad, Narayanan Jagadeesan, Lungi Ngidi, Shalda Dakar, Ambeti Rayadu, Sai Kishore, Mitchell Satner, Khan Sharma, Imran Tahir, KM Asif, Krishnappa Gautam, Moin Ali, Cheswa Pujara, Hashankar Reddy, Bhagat Verma, Hari Nishant, and Robin Uthappa. I must apologise, by the way, because I am surrounded by 4 proper Indians here from India, and I know I'm butchering half these names. So I always must say sorry to anyone out there thinking, what the hell is this guy saying? And I see Chris's like disappointed head. I know.
How dare you, Shay? How dare you?
I'm trying my best, man. I am trying my best, but I'm just a lad from St Helens, a small town up north by Liverpool. That's so. I am doing my best here, man. But yeah, so that's the Chennai squad. And so Anurag, we'll start with you again. Obviously, same questions. What is your thoughts on the overall squad, the kind of guys that they've brought in, and then your predicted 11?
So, Shay, to be honest, I failed to understand CSK's fetish or obsession with men who are aged above 30. I don't understand. You sign in Robin Uthappa, you bring in Cheteshwar Pujara, and with Dhoni being very picky about picking his sides, I'm pretty sure both of them are not going to get a game. So
how many franchises Robin Uthappa play for now? He must play for every single franchise. I think he's gone through. I think his life ambition is to play for every single franchise. Before it's
okay, Sayan's got a number 5.
5. He played for Rajasthan, obviously last year. He played for RCB. He played for Kolkata. He actually was good at Kolkata, to be fair. Mumbai. Who's the 5th one?
Pune Warriors.
Oh, he played for Pune in 2014, wasn't it, with Graham Smith and these guys?
Mm-hmm.
Bangalore. Who's the other one?
Bangalore.
And now with Chennai. That's 6, no?
6.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
He's a franchise whore, that guy, man. Absolute franchise whore, innit? Like, I just got all I bet in his house, and you go through his living room, he's got every single franchise shirt on his wall. I bet you, man. Everyone was just decorating, man. All sides. He makes me laugh. Robert, I don't know how this bad guy buys contracts. I think he's 36, 35 this year, isn't he? He was awful last year. Robbie and all that. I can't stand the guy, man. Anyway, he's in, yeah. I've never liked a topper man. Anyway, so we've got so he's in the squad. You brought in Moin Ali, and it's so funny, Anurag, because you pointed out we hit the 43 or 12 balls that second test, and you were like, "That was just doing that for the IPL contract." In Chennai, smashing 43. That's all it was about. He was probably shaking hands at the end with all the best with Virat Kohli. Said, "I'll see you in the IPL, mate." He knew he secured his contracts, in it. He knew he secured the bag big time. Rishabh Pant did it round and made me laugh. Anyway, sorry, I've cut you off here. It's been a roundabout topper. So yeah, what's your predicted 11? And again, the transfer policy.
So I'll go with my most consistent batsman, Faf du Plessis. He's been performing right from the inception of his career in CSK, right from 2012. So then I'd go with the youngster Ruturaj Gaikwad. He's shown glimpses of what a good batsman he is in the last year. Right after he recovered from COVID, he showed a few nerves in the initial games, but later he showed you what a Maharashtra or a Mumbai batsman is capable of. Then next I'll go with my IPL superstar Suresh Raina, the most consistent batsman ever. Then the hothead Ambati Rayudu, who's always aggressive and he's showing aggression on the field always. Then I'll go with my 40-year-old MS Dhoni, who's going to keep wickets and my captain as well. Then I'll go with my favorite player Moin Ali, the bits and pieces all-rounder, who's going to provide that 200 strike rate in the middle overs, which Chennai lack. Then I'll go with my rockstar Jadeja, Sam Curran, Bravo, Shardul Thakur and Deepak Chahar.
Do you feel the withdrawal of Josh Hazelwood is detrimental to the side, or won't really be a big loss?
Well, if you look right from 2018, he hasn't got a long run because when CSK has always played a very good spin attack in their home pitches, and not many fast bowlers had a chance or a longer run to play in their squad. So it is okay that they'll be missing Josh Hazelwood, but they're not even concerned. In one of those interviews I've seen, that the management has said they're not quite concerned because they have Lungi Engedi in the side, and with the form Shardul Thakur, I think they'll manage it.
Okay. And what's for you the weaknesses in the side?
So the weakness would be obviously the age factor.
Yeah.
With the summer coming in India, I'm not sure how the players going to cope up with their body. I'm not sure their bodies will hold up as well against the heat. So it'll be the age one, that is the factor. And two, they're going to miss an international fast bowler who's going to pick wickets for them because there's no Josh Hazelwood, and I'm not sure if Lungi Engedi is going to get many games. And those are the two weaknesses I see.
And the key three players?
So key three players would be my Faf du Plessis, Moeen Ali, and Sam Curran. And the impact player from the outside would be the new signing Hari Shankar Reddy. So this guy is probably highly recommended by Ambati Rayudu himself because they've played together in the Andhra Ranji team. He's quite rapid. He's also picked the wicket of MS Dhoni in one of the practice sessions. I've seen the video. He's quite rapid. So he's going to be the player if he's going to play.
Yeah, thank you. Krishna, obviously you're a big CSK fan. What's your thoughts on the squad? And how far do you feel that Shai can go the season after what was really a dismal season last year?
See, I think the squad, obviously, I think the Uttapa pick was quite a brain fart. But I think with respect to the rest of the squad, I see there's one thing that I really, really, really want to see from CSK this season is to play Dhoni and Jadeja up the order. And even I would actually not have Rayudu. I would take Anurag's team and probably not have Rayudu in there. Nothing against Rayudu, but I just can't find a place for him right now. And have Dhoni at 4, Jadeja 5, Karan 6, and play somebody, maybe a Gautam, maybe even a Bravo at 7. But I would like to see a lot more aggressive intent from CSK as opposed to sort of being conservative for the first 6 overs, because the power play was where was where they actually lost most games in the season. They were scoring at 6-7 and over, not able to kick on from there, chasing 180, 190. That just isn't acceptable. And when you're playing in grounds like Mumbai, you're playing in grounds like Ahmedabad, Bangalore, etc. You can't necessarily just be on the back end and hope that you get a big flourish at the end. Dhoni's not that same player anymore. So yeah, I would like to see that. With regards to the squad, I like the fact that they've picked up some youngsters in Hari Shankar, in Hari Nishant, in Bhagat Varma, etc. Sai Kishore also somebody they've had for a while now. I'd like to see him being used a bit more. He's a very talented off spinner. Has picked up was the highest wicket taker in the 2019 Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy as well. So I'd like to see a lot more utility of young cricketers, and I think the old cricketers should just be there as mentors rather than actual whatever options in the squad. Uttapa, Pujara would be great mentors to guys like Nishant, to Jagadisan, to Pujara. I'm not to Pujara, sorry, to Gaikwad, etc. I think these would be great great players to do that, as opposed to being actual options as openers at the top of the order. Speaking
of Jagadisan, obviously lead run scorer in a side Mushtaq Ali Trophy. I think he strikes at 141, average 72. Fantastic tournament for him. Anurag, did you pick him in your 11? And Krishna, would you?
Not the starting 11, because I can't find a place for him. But I think he definitely be there in the 15 if things go south.
Anurag, did you have him in your 11? Jagadisan?
Not really. Unless Ruturaj fails, I won't bring in Jagadisan.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. We'll move across. Unless Chris, you got any more points on CSK anymore? Okay.
I think Aditya had a point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, go for it, mate. Yeah.
I think CSK is one of those teams that I think Dhoni just knows how to manage and get the best out of. Dhoni doesn't necessarily look for the hottest stock in T20 cricket in order to get a performance out of them. And if you look at the last season, Faf du Plessis was the best fielder in the tournament. he had 100% catching rate. He scored 449 runs in the tournament, and he was probably the lone shining star. And if you look at the picks of uh, Pujara, for example, uh, Uttapa. Uttapa has done really well in the Vijay Hazare Trophy. Uh, Pujara somehow has made some technical adjustments, and I saw a couple of videos where he was literally tonking it out of the ground. So I feel like Pujara is not an emotional buy. He has, I think Dhoni might use him in a way whereby he can get the best out of Pujara, particularly on against the spinners. Where he can rotate the strike fairly well. And overall, I think CSK had a pretty good auction, and they did get good players. So Moeen Ali getting 43 of 12, sure they were licking their lips, like yeah, we want this guy here for sure. Um, I think overall CSK is a very strong team, and I do think that guys like Ruturaj Gaikwad is obviously going to open. I think Faf's definitely going to be there, and I think in all three departments, batting, bowling, fielding, they're all pretty strong. They're underrated, I know, and we generally make fun of them because they're all like in the mid-30s, the wrong side of the 30s. But again, you look at and ground fielding is where we've generally been critical of them. But if you look at the percentage of the catches that they take, they're better than all the other franchises. So they're actually not as bad as we might think that they are.
I know you're a massive Faf du Plessis fan, so I was waiting for you to defend him, to be honest, and just I was waiting for that. I knew if Faf came up. Do you know what I mean? I knew that the fanboy Aditya would be straight on that. No one criticises Faf on this show, and Aditya say it. Do you know what I mean? So, no, but to be fair, Faf say he's still a quality white ball player, and he's done so well for China, hasn't he? So, and he's a fit 36-year-old. He's not like 36 going on 46. He's a healthy, fit guy. So, yeah, I mean, a fair point. Krishna, I'm going to go back to you. Obviously, you're unfortunate not to cover Punjab in this show. So we'll go to Punjab Kings, as they're called now. Captain Carroll to lead run scorer from last year. Chris Gale, 42 years old almost, back again. Mike Agarwal, Nicholas Puran, Mandeep Singh, Sarfraz Khan, Deepak Hooda, Prab Simran Singh, Mohammed Shami, Chris Jordan, Darshan Nakandi, Ravi Bishnoi, Murugan Ashwin, Arshdeep Singh, Harpreet Brar, Ishan Porel, Jai Richardson, Riley Meredith, Davi Milan, Shahrukh Khan, Moise Henriques, Jalaj Saxena, Utkarsh Singh, Sarab Kumar, and Fabian Allen. It's so funny, you pronounce those Indian names, and you get like Tom Jones, and it's just like a lovely rest. It's just like, yes, Pat Cummins, I love your name, mate. When you try to pronounce 5 Indian names in a row. Fabian Allen. I can read that. I can read Fabian Allen.
Can I just say one thing? I want to watch you pronounce all those names on loop.
That'd be what you call it, meme. Like your age people, look at this. Check this guy out. This idiot who's trying to pronounce Indian names. It'd be like a comedy sketch, man. I really was struggling though with some of them. I mean, I just what was it? Saxena, like Saxena. Saxena. Saxena, right? Yeah. I think you know what. You should just send you the link and you just pronounce the squads. Christian, how to crack off from there, man. Oh God. Anyway, I jokes, man. Anyway, so that's the squad. I don't want to repeat it again because I can't, as you know. So anyway, Punjab Kings. That's the squad. Obviously, the signings this year: Jai Richardson, Riley Meredith, Davi Milan, Shahrukh Khan, Moise Henriques, Saxena, Utkarsh Singh, Sarab Kumar, and Fabian Allen, former Sunrisers. So they signed a lot of players. They've signed a lot of players in the off season. What's your opinion on them here, Krishna, with Punjab and your pits 11 and perceived weaknesses?
Okay, so the first thing that actually Punjab Kings got right, Kings 11 Punjab, whatever it is, Punjab Kings got right this auction is they actually retained a very, very strong core of players. If you look at the players that they retained, you could pick 11 just including those players alone, which is probably the first time in Punjab's history that I've seen that happen. They've also retained their coach for the first time in 6 years or so. So that's also a plus for them. So I like the fact that they've done that to start with, right? But Now, when it comes to the Punjab side, yes, the top 4, top 5 batsmen, easily the strongest top 5 in the competition, with KL Rahul, Mayank Agarwal, Chris Gale, Nick Pooran. It's definitely something that it's definitely a side that will challenge for the playoff spots. Now, when it comes to their team, I actually see I see Nick Pooran having a very, very important role to play at number 4. He's going to be very
the gloves. Maybe will he take the gloves or will it be K. Rahul?
I think it'll be KL Rahul. I just feel like KL Rahul, he enjoys the wicket keeping, so he's gonna take that, and he'll have Nick Pooran in the field. We saw that beautiful save on the boundary against Rajasthan Royals last time. So yeah, I think that's probably what KL Rahul will do. But I think again, KL Rahul, as every year, he always does it, will probably have a 550, 500 plus season. He's been so good for them. But I think also KL Rahul, now with the likes of Pooran, with the likes of Shah Rukh Khan, who they've signed to bat at 6, and they also have guys like Deepak Hooda, Mandeep Singh, Sarfraz Khan can also come in there. They have Fabian Allen also. It's a big hefty striker of the ball. So they have guys in there who can actually take the pressure off of Rahul in the middle order if things go south. So Rahul can actually has the freedom to play with a lot more. He can actually go for the bowling a little sooner and probably strike at a higher strike rate, which is one of the good things about Punjab this season. So when it comes to, I think the one issue I see with Punjab is the bowling. It's not the best outfit. And they still, I think last season they conceded, 11.5 and on average in the last, in the death overs. They lost a lot of games because of the death over bowling. And I think still that might be an issue. They've brought in Jai Richardson, Riley Meredith, to resolve those issues. But I don't really know how well they will be able to do that. But I do think that a lot of onus and a lot of the death bowling responsibility will be on Shami, will be on likes of Ishan Porel, Arshdeep, etc. So we'll have to see how they go about it. But I think that could be an issue for them. And also the very interesting point, at number 7, they don't have a genuine all-rounder to go to. Last season they had somebody like a Nisham, who they tried playing at 7 to get 4 overs out of, but they weren't able to do that because he just wasn't giving them 4 overs, and his batting also wasn't that great. So they weren't able to utilize Nisham to the best of his capabilities. This season also they have Jalat Saxena. We don't know how many overs he'll bowl. We don't know how much he can. We don't exactly know what he'll do with the bat. Is he the kind of 8-ball, 15-run kind of player that Punjab need? We don't really know. We have also Fabian Allen. I think Fabian Allen is probably the best player suited for 7. That number 7 spot, but then again, you won't be able to play a Riley Meredith. You may not be able to play a Chris Jordan. So yeah, or they may have to say, Chris Jordan bat at 7, but is Chris Jordan a good enough number 7 batsman? Probably not, right? So I could see that being a problem. But I guess those are issues. I'll just go ahead with my first 11. So KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal to open the batting, and then to start with, I'll have Chris Gale. And we'll see how many seasons or how many games we can get the best out of Chris Gale, and then switch to David Malan. And then Nick Pooran at 5. I will have I'll have Shah Rukh Khan at 6 and Deepak Hooda at 5. Because Deepak Hooda actually is somebody who can offer a couple of overs of spin as well, which they don't necessarily have in their top 7. They might want a 6th bowler. I don't know if Gale's bowling anymore, so Deepak Hooda might be a useful player there, and he was pretty good in the last game of the last season. So Deepak Hooda 5, Shah Rukh Khan at 6, genuine good striker of the ball, can also bowl 1 or 2 overs, and he's a player who strikes at 150, 160, bats at 6, which is very, very hard to find. Had a very good SMA T20, Syed Mushtaq Ali T20 trophy as well. So Shah Rukh Khan at 6, they paid 7 crores for him. So Shah Rukh Khan at 6, Fabian Allen at 7. I'll have Jai Richardson and Shami. I'll have Ishan Porel and Ravi Bishnoi, not Arshdeep Singh, because Ishan Porel is the more hot commodity, at least I feel right now.
Who do you feel are the 3 key players in the side, Krishna?
KL Rahul. Every day of the week, KL Rahul is going to be a key player. So KL Rahul is going to be important for them. Shami is also going to be important for them because he will have to shoulder the responsibility of those death overs. And if I had to pick a third, I think probably my safest bet would be Nick Pooran, simply because he's so good and he's going to need to fire for them to win.
Sayan, you mentioned your sign that obviously in terms of Punjab Kings, they have obviously Agarwal and Rahul, who know the Bangalore pitch extremely well, so it could favour them. I'm not sure how many games they're playing actually down there, but do you feel like Rahul could have another good tournament ahead of him? Obviously, leading on scorer last year. Hasn't been the best of form. Did okay in T20, was dropped obviously for the last one, but did obviously a lot better in the 50 over matches. Do you feel like this he will? A lot of pressure is on his shoulders once again going into this tournament?
No, I feel a lot of pressure has been relieved off his back this year going into the tournament, right? As they have got a lot of all-rounders in Fabian Allen, Shah Rukh Khan, and other people to strike lower down the order, which was their problem last year. But however, I do feel that he, being the captain and the opener, the keeper, everything, he will try to get all the pressure on himself so that get others off the pressure. And I feel that might harm his form again, and he might start stat padding, right? However, I feel their coach had said that he'll play with an aggressive intent this time. So I do hope that he does play with that RCB kind of innings, which he played 132 of 69 balls or something like that.
So crazy. Okay, thank you. That's okay. So we'll quickly move on to the last team before we go do our playoff predictions. So Aditya, I'll head back to you regarding Rajasthan Royals. So the squad, we've got Sanju Samson's been installed as captain, obviously, with the release of Stephen Smith, Ben Stokes, Joffa Archer, Josh Butler, Ryan Parag, Shreyas Gopal, Rahul Tewatia, Manipal Lumraw, Kata Tyagi, Andrew Tai, Yedev Unnakat, Mayank Makanda, Yashavi Jaswal, Anuj Rawat, David Miller, Manan Vora, Chris Morris, the multi-million-dollar man, Shivam Dubey, Mustafiza Rahman, Chetan Sakaria, Casey Karyappa, Liam Livingston, Kuldeep Yadav, Akash Singh. So that's a squad for Rajasthan. I've got a soft spot for Rajasthan. Obviously, won the very first IPL in 2008, as we all know, under Shane Warne. It's been a steady slide, hasn't it, really? Kind of perennial basement boys, it feels like. They have their moments in competitions, but never really seem to get it right. They've always adopted this kind of, I felt like a bit of a cheaper policy into the transfers, trying to nurse these gems to try and get them over the line. It never really works any season. They've obviously upset the apple cart in that respect with the massive purchase of 1.625 crore of Chris Morris. I feel like all the eggs... 16 crore, sorry. So I feel like all the eggs have gone to 16 crore basket, in my opinion, with Chris Morris. What is your opinion, Aditya, on obviously acquisition of Chris Morris, and how the lineup you feel will be going forward for the competition?
Look, I don't agree with the idea that any player should be paid 16 crores. For that matter, I don't even think Virat Kohli should be paid 17 crores simply because you have 25 players in a squad and you have your salary cap is 85 crores. So if you spend 17 crores on Virat Kohli or 16 crores on Chris Morris, you're left with not a lot of money to get 24 other players. So it doesn't make sense from the perspective of team building. Look, I think Rajasthan Royals, a very frustrating franchise, and the fact that Sanju Samson has been a part of it for a couple of years now and is now named captain, it's probably most exasperating because you can see the talent in Sanju Samson, but in the years that I've seen him, I've never seen him perform in more than 3 games every season, and that to me is unacceptable because I think he's been playing IPL for the last 7 years or 8 years now. So now he's named captain. Hopefully that will add some responsibility and reflect in his performances. And with Kumar Sangakkara coming in as director of cricket, hopefully that tactical nows will be a bit better. But in saying that, Butler and Stokes have to be there at the top of the order. Sanju Samson has to be there at 3. Chris Morris, David Miller has to be there in my view. They need that power hitter in the middle order.
I want to discuss that briefly with you after in a little while. But carry on. Sorry, Aditya.
Yeah, David Miller has to be there. Chris Morris has to be there. Otherwise, the management will end up looking stupid.
Yeah.
And Karthik Tyagi, he played last season as well. He's got to be there. Shreyas Gopal has got to be there. Rahul Tewatia has got to be there. You know, he was one of the shining stars in the last season. Personally, I'd like to see Yashasvi Jaiswal get more game time than he did last season. You know, he was a part of the India under 19 World Cup season that went on to the final, and you know his story was a kind of inspirational success story that we've come to associate with a number of young guns in Indian cricket. So I want to see him get more game time. But this to me is the core, and of course Riyan Parag, another very talented player from Assam. So
an Archer if he's fit. An Archer if he's fit. MVP last year has to play if he's fit, isn't it? He'll lead the attack.
But we don't know what's going on with Archer, because one report says that he's not going to play the entire season. Another report says that he's not going to play half the season. I think the ECB is trying to defend or is trying to sort of shift the attention from the fact that he's really been overworked in all 3 formats, and that's how he's got his elbow injury, as opposed to getting cut on his elbow while he was cleaning his house. You've got to be kidding. You've got to respect the public a bit more. I think if you say that Archer was injured while he was playing cricket, I think that's a more respectable way of delivering the truth. But yeah, in saying that, I think Archer is going to be a big miss, and Chris Morris is a lot more pressure.
Massive hole in that bowling attack without Archer. Huge. I mean, they saw last year. I mean, Undercat is there, isn't he? He's lurking in the background like a little creeper somehow, but still bagging an IPL contract. I mean, the last thing you want to see is Undercat wearing a shirt in the final 11, do you know what I'm saying? So that's what they're faced with. I mean, my team, I just quickly say what my team was. Butler, Vora, Sanju Samson, Ben Stokes, Ryan Parag, Manipal Lomro did quite well inside Ali Mustat Trophy. Rahul Tewatia, Archer, if he's fit, or Mustafiza, Rahman, and then Makonde, the spinner, and then Karthik Tyagi. That was my 11. I mean, there was playing around with a few guys, like Jaswal as well was there. They've got a lot of young, raw Indian players in the setup still, which I think is actually one of their weaknesses. That's the problem. These guys don't fire. These guys don't. They really deliver. I mean, Sanju Samson, remember last year, I can't remember he scored the 85 against his top score last season. Maybe you guys can tell me. But I remember the post-match press conference, he was talking about, I've got to take the game more seriously. I remember that interview. I was thinking, you're 26 years old, mate, and you're still not taking it seriously. He's talking about that. I remember saying, I've got to, about his diet and all this kind of stuff. And he went on to flop for the rest of the tournament. Like you said, DT, he seems to have 3 games, 4 games maximum. But I think they picked him captain because there's no real other options as far as I can see, really, unless you want to give Butler the captaincy. But, I think they want to go with Indian captain. Yeah. They need to see, he needs to fire, in my opinion. They've got to play Morris. But the thing is, you mentioned David Miller, and that's the elephant in the room, in my opinion. Because the guy played, 1 game last year? But the reality is,
he was run out into the face of ball.
Yeah, but this year, as you know, Aditya more than anyone, Pakistan, phenomenal. The 85 or 45 balls in that 30-20, was it? Amazing. He was superb for the Dolphins. I was watching him every game. He was fantastic for the Dolphins. He did really well, obviously, in the second ODI with that quick 550. He's in immense form. David Miller is someone who is going into this tournament banging form. But do you say to someone like Ben Stokes, there's no place here, mate? The question is, if Archer's not fit, it's a moot point, because Morris will play with Miller, Butler, and Stokes. Day four. What they have is people like Liam Livingstone, who's happy to sit around and collect a paycheck. They don't have, like, example like Sunrisers. They don't have the issue with big name players on the sidelines. They don't have that. They've got those bankers, and that's pretty much it. I just worry, weaknesses for me with the young, unproven players. I actually think Chris Morris is a potential weakness, because I think that price tag puts a lot of pressure on the coaching and the management, because you've got to play the guy. And even if he's playing rubbish, you've got to keep playing the guy. Almost. You can't have a couple of bad games and drop the guy, right? Because you paid $2 million USD for him. So that's a weakness, in my opinion. You put so much money on him. Even if he's playing poor, you still got to keep playing the guy. And is that going to cost you in the long term throughout the competition? Because you invest $2 million USD, so you got to play him, right? But they're gonna have to be ballsy about it. If he's not playing well, then you bring in, let's say Archer's fit, you've got to bring in Miller or even Liam Livingston. You've got to forget about the price tag. But the question is, can you really do that in practice? Okay, me saying that right now, but for Rajasthan, well, you have the balls, the nuts on them, the cojones to say, you know what, you're not playing well, mates. And I think that's a weakness on their side. I think that's a problem.
I think the problem is also in how they use Stokes, because Stokes in T20 cricket statistically is not the force that he is in Test cricket or even one-day cricket. Because Stokes, the bowler, for example, he goes for about 11 runs and over, the death overs. He goes for about 13 runs and over in the middle overs, and he goes for about 8 to 9 runs and over in the power play. So at what point do you really use Stokes, the bowler? Stokes, the batsman, he scored 200s in the IPL. Both of those hundreds have come in when he started batting in the power play, which means that if you look at Stokes, if you get Stokes in the middle overs, he's going to waste valuable time, and his strike rate at the death is 157. And in comparison, guys like Andre Russell at the death is striking at 220. Hardik Pandya is striking at 190. So Stokes is a great player, and I think there's an aura about Stokes where you take the name and you feel like, of course, he's got to be the first name on the sheet. But you have to think about the value to the team. And look, Stokes would be a part of my team. And if I was in the Rajasthan management, I think I would just, to make sure that I can sleep peacefully at night, I'd have Chris Morris in the team. As simple as that. But to me, the obvious 4 overseas players would be Butler, Stokes, Miller, and Morris.
Well, that's Archer's fair than one of those guys pretty much falls away. Krishna, sorry, you got a point.
Yeah.
See, I think while it is necessary to an extent to have somebody of Miller's caliber in the middle order. Also, you have to understand. I mean, there is a huge hole in the bowling without Archer. Archer is the arm, the leg, the liver, the pancreas of this bowling lineup. It just is. Where is Unadkat done anything?
I think Unadkat is the anus, to be honest.
That is actually very true. I agree 100%. I mean, they paid like 8 crores for Unadkat, hasn't given you anything. Kartik Tyagi, yes, he's getting better, right? But they just don't have the bowlers. So of course they've brought in Morris to address some of that in the power play. Right, but where's your death bowler? All right, are they going to get it out of an Indian bowler like Chetan Sakaria or an Unadkat himself? I highly doubt it. So they'll have to. I think they'll have to play somebody like an Andrew Ty or a Mustafizur Rahman and sacrifice Miller, right? Or sacrifice Stokes and play Miller, because it's very hard to fit in Miller when your bowling is so weak. Yes, Tewatia is there, Gopal is there. They'll handle the spin overs. Markandeya also is there, but the fast bowling lineup just looks so weak. Even if you put Miller in there, yes, the batting looks stronger, but the bowling is just absolutely horrendous. That is with you when you don't have Archer.
Excellent points there, Krishna. Aditya, do you have any last points on Rajasthan before we wrap up?
I'd say good luck, and I hope Sanju Samson works as captain, because otherwise it's just going to be one massive pointless investment in a guy who's been in the IPL for years now. And I also think it's time for them to start looking at more Indian youngsters who have that potential to be steady, consistent batsmen instead of that eccentric talent, who performs once every 6 or 7 games. So I think that to me is would be the focus for them. But good luck to Rajasthan. I hope they do well.
Sayan, last point with you, mate, before we quickly do the top 4 for everyone.
Yeah. So the point about Unadkat is, I want to ask you guys: is there no way that we can remove him from the 11 and play anyone else? Anyone? Just it's open for all.
I'd try removing from the country, to be honest. Never mind the 11. Just to get, there's no way of him playing at all. I think this guy's been stealing a living for a long time in the IPL. I really do.
I think the thing about death bowling with Unadkat is last year they tried it in front of AB de Villiers, right? And we saw what happened.
I've seen Dale Steyn being smashed, as Anurag remembers, for Hyderabad by AB. But anyway, that's a fair point.
Sayan, just to answer your point, I think they'll have to they'll probably have to just back Chetan Sakaria. He had a good SMA T20 trophy, so I mean Chetan Sakaria is a promising guy, or maybe try and get it out of Shivam Dube. I don't know, but I think Chetan Sakaria is your best bet.
Shivam Dube went for 34 runs against someone, right? If I'm not wrong. So you got
right, guys. Let's just quickly wrap up there with that. Thank you, guys. I just want to quickly do your top 4 predictions before we finish up. Anurag, I'll start with you.
So it'll be Mumbai, Sunrisers, then RCB and Chennai.
Krishna?
Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, and Sunrisers.
Aditya?
In no particular order, Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, RCB.
Sayan?
Chennai, KKR, MI, and SRH.
It's very interesting. You all got Chennai in there. I've got them down at 5. I've got Mumbai, Sunrisers, Delhi, and Kolkata.
Finally, someone is Kolkata.
Yeah, I'm going to go Kolkata for the 4th spot. I think Morgan's doing a decent job. Okay, cool, guys. I think that's pretty much it for this show. Who would you have finishing bottom? Just out of curiosity.
It's easy.
Who's on?
Rajasthan.
Aditya?
Same, Rajasthan.
Krishna?
I'm going to say Kolkata.
Okay.
Anurag?
Kings 0 Punjab.
Yeah, I've got them. I've got PK. I got PK as well, man. Got Punjab, Punjab bottom. Anyway, see. Anyway, I'll leave it there, guys. We haven't predicted the winners of the competition. I'm going to go with, unfortunately, Mumbai again. So if you want to tell me your winners, I'm going to go with Mumbai.
I might root for SRH this time.
Krishna?
Dude, I'm wearing the shirt. I'm telling you.
I knew you said that.
I'm wearing the shirt, man. Chennai, of course.
Aditya?
I think it's between one of Mumbai, Chennai, and Bangalore.
No, come on, man. You got to give us one team. Can't pick like six teams and one's going to win.
All right. Just for the underdogs, I'd go with Bangalore. I think it's their tournament.
Fair enough. You've been talking to Aaron way too much. Good connoisseur. Sayan, who's your winner?
Chennai.
Oh, Chennai, really? Okay, wow. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I want Dhoni to, retire with a legacy.
Fair enough. Yeah, be good swan song to go out on. Okay, guys, that's it. Anurag, just quickly, where do we find you?
Hey guys, you can find me on Facebook as Anurag Reddy and Twitter as The Obvious Madlad.
Krishna?
You can find me at my Instagram handle, like right here, Krishna_Kalki, and on YouTube at Krishna Kalki. And also tomorrow, guys, I'm putting out something very interesting regarding the IPL, so stay tuned.
Fantastic. Aditya?
On Aditya Mehta on Instagram and Twitter, and Aditya Mehta on Facebook.
Sayan? My favorite.
Bastionat at Instagram.
In the description, I'm going to do later on with the images tomorrow. I'm actually going to put the script, your handles in the description box. So we're doing that. At least people just quickly reference it rather than watch an hour and 25 minutes to get to it. So yeah, we'll do that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate really like for you guys. This is the first IPL Kati show. It was the preview, obviously. The aim is to do it every Sunday. So just reviewing the games, key performances, the winners and losers of the week. And yeah, I'm hoping I'll see the 4 guys got with here will be coming on every week. That'd be great. And maybe we'll have some more people as well. So yeah, stay tuned. Hope you like the content. Do like, comment, subscribe, as you always say. And hopefully I will see you again soon. All right. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, man.